Hey, it's Joshua Vergara from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And here we have a feature-focused video focusing on the new features of the S Pen. Now, the S Pen has always been a bit of a trump card of sorts for the Note line, always that little bit more that this phone had over pretty much any other smart device, and it still brings a lot of the same great functionality. There are a lot of features that return from before and will mostly focus on the new things that Samsung put into this new 7th iteration. The S Pen, however, is still able to be used like a mouse onto the Note 7 screen, being able to hover over, let's say, folders in the gallery to get a better look at what might be inside of that folder. You can still use the Air View for a lot of different functions, not really anything new here, but it's still a nice feature to have for a stylus found on this phone. We'll go ahead and dive into one of the new features, however. We'll start off by opening up the Air Commands menu, and you can already see a couple of new shortcuts. You can change these shortcuts also, so if you're going to take the S Pen out and go straight into, let's say, a regular application, you can always put one as one of these shortcuts. But I go ahead and put down the Translate and the Magnify features. Now, Translate is a wonderful new feature that we think will be pretty useful for those of you who travel, and of course, what you'll do is just select the Translate shortcut in the Air Command menu and be able to hover over, again using Air View, any particular words in a particular language and translate it to another language. There are 71 in total. There's only one real limitation to the Translate feature, at least for the moment, and it's that you can only do it word by word. We have yet to have the feature to highlight a sentence or even a whole block of text and be able to translate that on the fly, but at least word for word you will be able to get translations easily. Then we move over to, let's say, a simpler feature, but still quite powerful, the Magnify feature. Essentially, you get a small square that you are able to use with Air View to hover over areas of the screen that you want to look at more closely. You can have a bunch of different zoom percentages, including 300% if you really need to get close into there, and you'll be able to magnify pretty much any bit of the screen. And then we'll go ahead and move into the Smart Select. Smart Select in and of itself is a feature that returns from the Note 5, but you now have the ability to create GIFs. Now, animation over on the top there is what is used in order to create a small frame of the size that you can pick that will take the motion off of the screen and create a 15-second clip that is in GIF form. Now, Smart Select was already an easy way of just taking out just the little sections of a display or of just even a website that is on the display in order to share with your friends. But with the Smart Select animation capture, you'll be able to get 15-second GIFs pretty much in the easiest way possible and be able to share them straight from that ability. But putting away Air Command means that we can go into the Notes app. Now, they made a big deal about the streamlining of the UI in the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, in that with the Notes app, you now have a consolidation of 4 different applications that used to all do different things and were all installed on previous Note devices. Now, Action Memo, Memo, S Note, and Scrapbook are all put into the same application just to consolidate all of their features. And it's pretty much your very full-featured Notes application. You'll be able to create notes, you'll be able to type on them, paint on them, write on them with a bunch of different brushes, and be able to put together colors with a full palette of colors that when you put 2 colors together will create a whole new one, much like in real life. And you'll be able to share those notes not only in the Pen Up social media app, but also with your friends and through different regular sharing applications as well. The final feature we'll look at is the Screen Off Memo. Now, Screen Off Memo is not new in and of itself. You just have the phone on standby with a turned off display, or in this case, the always on display displayed. And when you take out the S Pen, you'll have a black canvas to easily write on in order to just jot down quick notes whenever you feel the need to. The cool thing about the Screen Off Memo now, however, is that you can pin it to the always on display. Essentially, when you create your Screen Off Memo, there's a small little pin at the top that you'll be able to hit, and then the Screen Off Memo that you just created will be part of the always on display, or AOD, for up to an hour unless notifications or any other things come up that have to take up that space in the always on display. So that's just your quick look at the new features of the S Pen. There's definitely a lot more that the S Pen can do, and it's one of the reasons why the Note line is actually quite popular. There is an extra feature here, one that we weren't really able to show except for a demo as you're seeing right now. The S Pen is water resistant, as is the entire phone. So there is the ability to write down notes underwater, and if you actually have ever wanted to do that before, maybe you can tell us in the comments below why you would actually need that. Water resistance is nice to have, but being able to write underwater We're still not too sure about that. Keep it tuned to Android Authority for even more about the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, the S Pen, the feature focuses we have, and comparisons of the phone. And you can keep it tuned here for even more because we are your source for all things Android.